What the hell is in those bags?
Rabid Weasels.
Are we going crazy?
No, it's that crap from them tanks! That goddamn chemicals! It's all over everything!
Stupid asshole!
Watch your tongue, boy, if you like this job!
Like this job!
My people. Brains.
I mean, I got something to say, you know? What do you think this is all about? You think this is a fucking costume? This is a way of life.
Mister, there's 100 of those things out there.
100?
Well, welcome back to the Rabid Weasels Podcast. I'm your host, TM, and on this episode, it's returning guest, Christian from Planet CHH. Christian, how are you, buddy?
It's going good, dude. It's like I'm in a vortex today. I just got off. I'll say this like we haven't just talked a few minutes ago, but it's good to be back, I'll tell you, because like I said, that episode we did, I thought was just fantastic, and talking about the music and stuff, and finding another person, and much less a podcast that loves this movie so much, and we could nerd out about, you know, the soundtracks and stuff is fantastic. And I'll tell you, dude, when we talked last, I deep dove into TSOL, and I really started listening to their records, and it's the one from '86. The name of a record slipping me at this time, but like that record, I'll listen to it top to bottom.
Amazing.
From TSOL. I have to look up the name, but you know, because I've obviously I know a lot from the Cramps and stuff, and I know I love the Jet Blackberries, aka New Math, whatever you want to call them. But when I got into TSOL after our conversation, like I was like, this band's actually like really, really, really good. The record I love is Hit and Run. Hit and Run. Like, I love this record. I don't think this doesn't have any of the songs from the movie, but I just naturally, because they were in the soundtrack for the first movie, I decided to like, I'm gonna like check these guys out, and Hit and Run is like such a great record from TSOL. Amazing. So I've become a bigger fan of them.
That's cool, man. I think that first soundtrack is, you know, I finally got a CD copy so I can put it in my car, because I'm that old. I have like the CD player still in my car.
I do too.
Yeah, man. I popped it in and I put it on the other day. I was driving to work and it's like, oh my god, every song on this soundtrack is just amazing. Yeah, it's great, man. I got to see TSOL a year ago, I think it was a year ago. They were playing a festival when my band was playing.
Yeah, you tell me about that.
Yeah, so they were really good. I mean, it was just a singer. Everyone else was like young pups compared. But yeah, man, great band. No, it was great having you on, talking about the movies, talking about the soundtrack, soundtracks are a big thing with me. You've got a cracking vinyl collection. So yeah, it was...
Speaking of soundtracks, did you get your Terror Vision Return of the Living Dead Part 2 set?
Yes, mate. Oh, yeah. It's so nice.
Did you get all the posters, and did you get the bigger bundle, or did you get the medium-sized bundle? Because I got the big one with the cups and everything.
I was messaging you, actually. We were messaging each other when that was dropping, and I in the end, I just went for the record.
Dude, you missed out, because those glass cups that they gave, they look like they're something from like a, I don't know if you guys have Pizza Hut over there, but like they look like they're from like a late 80s Pizza Hut. Like like they're so nice.
Yeah. I
love it. Like and the t-shirts and everything, like the t-shirts were great.
Yeah.
I love TerraVision, man. Like I've become friendly with one of the guys that is like part of the company, and they're really good. They price their stuff really well, and I love them. And I just love the fact that they did part 2. So I hope they do, like, I hope they can do something like that for part 3. I know they can't. I know they probably can't do it for the first movie, but like for some reason, I hope they can do just something like that for part 3, just so they can do all kinds of fun extra stuff like that.
Do you know what? It's absolutely magical that they were able to get the score for part 2 and put it on record. We were talking about it, but way before, you know, we had that thumbnail of just the font in black and pink. Right. We were just so excited, and now it's here. And I've put it on. I mean, to be fair, Christian, your episode about the part 2 DVD, absolutely blew my mind. I mentioned it on the podcast here and advised people to go and check out your video about the true score. It's unbelievable. It changes it. It really, like you said in your episode. In fact, I ended up getting the VHS because of the original score. That was the plan. The score is just amazing. It's obviously very different to the original, but it's great in its own right. So, did you see my Shark Entertainment bootleg DVD that I got recently?
I'm sure I did, but I have amnesia. So please show me again. Do you have it on you, or
here it is?
Bring it over a little bit more. I can't see it.
All right, there you go. So
wow.
Okay, for the non-YouTube watchers, this is a Spanish bootleg, and it's got, the only difference is the font is I think it's at the bottom, whereas the original's at the top. And I'm trying to think now. Let me just pull out part 2. Here we go. So yeah, that's right. The font.
Why does it make more sense at the bottom? Like, it makes more sense
yeah.
On my poster, I have a one sheet in here of part 2.
Yeah.
The font's below the tornado. People get mad at me. The wind gust, or the wind, whatever you want to call it. I call it a tornado.
Tornado.
Looks like a goddamn tornado, man. Like, get off my case, people.
Yeah, man. I'm with you. It's definitely. But yeah, that is completely different. It's a different shade of purple. The font's lower. Now this is a bootleg of the VHS.
No, so it's got the original score and everything on there.
The original score.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah, so that's really cool. But
yeah, I still wonder if people don't realize that, like, I took that that kind of, I think it's called a zombie stomp or whatever it's called. I forget the name of it, but like when they're coming out the ground, that bum 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 bum. I don't know if people will say, "Hey man, what is your intro music?" I said I re-recorded a snippet of the part 2 zombie theme.
Oh,
like,
actually re-recorded it?
Yeah, I did that.
Nice.
And people were like, "Is that really it?" I said, hey, I sped it up a little bit, and I used like a real drum track, but like I performed like on a real drum track, but like, yeah, that's what that is. And then they'll be like, "Oh my god, that is it." So
I didn't know you did it yourself. That's amazing.
Oh yeah, I'm a musician. Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I record all that stuff. So
yeah, I follow your music stuff as well, man. It's good. Oh, brilliant, man. That's brilliant. Yeah,
very
so
cool.
It's very cool. So it's great to have you back on. I love talking to you. Because you are, next to me, one of the biggest Return of the Living Dead fans I know, which is amazing. But I got you on because I think we need to discuss, because I haven't done it on this on the show yet. We need to discuss the new trailer for the 2025 Return of the Living Dead. Now, I watched it when it dropped on Friday the 13th. I've waited to have someone on to talk about it, and you were the man. So what were your initial thoughts when that trailer dropped?
So I can give you my initial thoughts, and I can also talk about how I've kind of marinated with it, because obviously it's been a few days now since I've seen it. My initial thoughts were both good, and there were things I liked about it, and there were things I didn't necessarily like about it. The things I liked about it was obviously just the emphasis on Tarman initially is good, because I think, obviously, when it comes to if you have a movie called Return of the Living Dead, you gotta. I think you have to have that. I think it would be like even movies like Part 3, where the emphasis was really on let's have an original story and stuff. They still technically have like a Tarman in Part 3, right? I mean, like he comes out of like there's a Tarman-esque character in Part 3, right? So it's part and parcel with the name of the movie in terms of how, important that character is. So the emphasis on him being in there, like when you see the gates open up, they slam open, and it has somewhat of a, like, not an animated look, but definitely like you could tell it's a little tongue-in-cheek the way they just boom, they slam open, and you see Tarman dragging a Christmas tree through the snow. So here's the things. The trailer looks pretty good. I like the atmosphere of it, but My thing is, I personally, when I think of Return of the Living Dead, I think summertime.
Mm-hmm.
And not even necessarily just for the first movie, right? Because I think if you look at part 2 and part 3, it's certainly not snowing, much less winter in those movies. And for me, I think it would be great to keep that theme going, but it seems like, I don't know if it's Terrifier 3's fault or not, but now I'm wondering, is the cool and hip thing to do right now to make horror movies take place during Christmas again?
Yeah.
So that avenue I don't really love. And I was also incorrect, because the word that I was getting at the time was this movie was taking place like 4 months after part 1, but no, it's 18 months, and it takes place in Pennsylvania. So I think visually it wasn't half bad. The Tarman character definitely looked like it was a really skinny, tall person playing it, but the walk was a little bit more stiff than bendy and kind of lucid, just to get nerdy about it. But it wasn't the worst thing. It wasn't horrible. But then again, I'll tell you this, dude. It's a teaser trailer, and I would probably bet money and say that what we saw is probably not even going to remotely even be a part of that movie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I have a feeling it was just done to promote the film. Because you know how back in the day, they used to make when they would make teaser trailers, they would film stuff just for a trailer. They don't really do that anymore, but I have a feeling that this is what that was. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm mixed on it. There's stylistic things that I would have done differently, but I didn't hate it by any stretch. That I will say. I didn't hate it by any stretch. So that's kind of like where I'm at as a whole now, still, with everything.
Right. Okay, I watched it on Friday the 13th when it dropped. My initial reaction was, Resurrection Cemetery style gates. Nice. Right. I like that. Tarman dragging a Christmas tree. One, I have issues because why is he dragging a Christmas tree? I don't understand. I mean, to get, like you say, to get nerdy, this is the place to get nerdy. Okay. If this is a supposed sequel, because everyone's saying, a lot of people think it's a reboot. Apparently it's not. It's going to be a sequel. Set after the first one, like you said, 18 months.
Right.
So Tarman shouldn't technically be there, in a sense, because he died. He's already dead. But he went up in the nuke in Louisville 18 months prior. So that is a bit of a slight red flag. Like, what does this mean? Dragging a Christmas tree, I don't see the symbolism, but I'm thinking you're right on the money that this won't appear in the movie. I think there's a possibility that scene could be in the movie, but it won't be a tree, it'll be a body. Maybe.
Right.
Or a body in the tree. And to be honest, I was really shocked because when the cord went tight, I thought, right, there's going to be a body being dragged after this. It makes sense if there's a corpse, a person snagged in the, screaming, and being pulled along as if like, can't get to him, so I've just took him by the tree. But it just snaps, so it was a bit like, where are we going with this? I've not seen the director's other work. I haven't heard good things, and that's from the internet. That's not anything directly. This is just from what people are saying online. So we'll see. I don't know.
One of the biggest things I saw when I did my video for it was like, there were people that were like, hey, you know what? I'm excited for a new Return of the Living Dead movie, et cetera, et cetera. But there were other people that really got like down to the nitty gritty about the trailer. And then one of the things that like got a bunch of upvotes was, how long is this extension cord? Because the tree's still lit up. And he's like, clearly if you're in a cemetery, you're at least a couple 100 feet from a house, right? Yeah. Much less coming out of a cemetery. through the gate. So
yeah, it's a crazy notion. And like you said, I saw your video about the trailer, and I agree with you. I'm not a massive fan of horror movies set at Christmas. They don't really. I don't mind them, but they don't really float my boat in a sense.
It's like if you ask me if I like Christmas horror movies, I'll say, well, I'll tell you this: there are movies that are horror movies that take place during Christmas that I like, but that's not why I like. I like Silent Night because it's a good slasher film. I like Black Christmas because it's an incredible movie.
Yeah,
but I don't watch it. I watch it during Christmas time because it makes the most sense to do that. But like, so it's just weirder for me. Like the last thing I would ever put together with Return of the Living Dead is Christmas. So I really think it's just a style to do now, because I don't know if maybe they see that as just being a popular thing with Terrifier or not, or they think it's a good marketing time to put out a horror movie. Because from what I understand, this movie's going to go to theaters, maybe not like 3,000 screens, but maybe like 500 or 600 across the. I don't know how much of a theatrical leg this thing's going to have. If I understand, this is going to be a theatrical movie. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
It's interesting. It's interesting to see where it goes. Some people have said that this trailer was filmed a long time ago as well. I can't verify that. This is allegedly what I've heard, that it wasn't filmed recently. It was filmed a while back as part of the his original the Living Dead Media's Kickstarter. Now, I don't know. I can't say for definite, but you know, I don't know. It's weird. Like you said, the Tarman the shuffle wasn't quite on. The thing is, Christian, me and you, we're mega fans, and we know the walk. We know the way that Alan Troutman does the shoulder swing when he's trying to get Tina out of the cupboard. You know how he does the slouch over.
It's almost ingrained. Rubber. Yeah, it's almost rubber band like. It's not. Yeah. And I mean, again, what we saw may not. It's hard to say, because what we saw could be we could have a totally different person playing the character. Mm-hmm. They could be a lot more like that, and I think it is also fair maybe if people are listening to this, they'll say, well, guys, you know, that is a super fan thing to critique. So, yeah. and so be it, you know, but it's like, it's hard to not obviously look at these sorts of things when you love the movie that much. And I mean, I think for me, that's my favorite movie. It's yours too. So it's just like, It's hard not to, you know, compare and that sort of thing. But my thing is, obviously, there's the Trash's Revenge film come out, so there's not going to be any people from the cast in this movie. And my thing is, why would, like, in a certain area, I'd say to myself, because I'd have people say, well, I wonder why are they not going to have X, Y, or Z in there, taking away all the legal reasons that Bloody Disgusting and everybody has reported on with the ownership of this and Treasure Revenge. They all died. Why would there be any, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Why would they necessarily? I guess you could say, well, they're all zombies or they're all whatever. But even then, like, they got blasted. They got nuked. So like there shouldn't be bodies to begin with. Yeah. So the Pennsylvania thing is interesting. I'm not against that. That's fine. 18 months is really interesting, as opposed like that's a pretty good time jump. Yeah. To take place after Louisville gets nuked. Like, we're going to 18 months. So I don't know. I you know, it's just one of those things, dude, where like, yeah, I've been vocal that I thought Kill Her Goats. I mean, in I'll be honest with you, when it comes to Kill Her Goats, which is the movie that I've seen from this director, all due respect, like I had this, I bought the movie, I watched the movie. All due respect, I mean, I'm not a filmmaker, but that doesn't mean I can't give criticism. I basically said, you're better off just watching porn to get your fix. Oh. Because, I mean, you know, there's good-looking women in there, but, like, the acting's just not good. The movie's very slow. and there's nothing to it. So you may as well just go to Pornhub and get it out of your system, because like that's my opinion. No.
Yeah.
I just hope that this movie is just decent, man. Like, there's no way on earth it can ever. You can't compete with what's now about to be 40 years of Return of the Living Dead. You can't. It's impossible. Nobody does. Nobody can do that. Like, nobody's going to tell me that Halloween 2018 is anywhere remotely as good as the original. It's impossible. You can't. All you can hope is that it's a good time. Right, and that's I gotta keep myself in check with, like, hopefully it's just a good time, and if I get that, dude, that's good enough for me. It really is. It's good enough for me.
Yeah, good point, man. Good point. So it's 40 years since the original. It's 20 years since 5. So this is the first thing we've had in 20 years, which is crazy. Now, I will say that if this fails, this will be the nail. Possibly, because there's 2 movies coming out, so maybe not. But this will be part of the nail in the coffin if this fails, because no one's going to want to go near it, are they? After this, if it fails, if it's a flop, then
it could fail one or two ways, right? Like if it goes theatrically and it doesn't do well, then that's one thing. But if it gets panned and people are just like, this is bad, I'd argue that that's even worse, right?
Yeah.
Because then it's just like people come out with pitchforks.
Oh,
because I think I underestimate how popular Return of the Living Dead is. Like, I kind of live in my own little bubble. I talk to guys like you, but like I don't like. We were talking earlier about like. You trying to show me the teaser trailer for Trash's Revenge and stuff. It's just like, well, I'm not part of any of those groups. Like, I don't venture out. So I feel like I'm probably a little jaded on how big, because to me, I still think Return of the Living Dead is a cult movie. And I guess you could still say it is, but I think that there's a lot, because, and again, my video on that, it's like one of my better videos this year, view-wise. Like, it did really good, and I was taken aback by it. So it's like, there's definitely a lot of people interested in the movie. Like, it's going to have a lot of eyeballs on it. That's for sure. So I think money-wise is one thing, but I think the reception of this thing is going to be probably twice as important.
Yeah. Yeah, because I watched some of the Dead Meat videos, the kill counts, and he recently did Return of the Living Dead. Now, he had done Return of the Living Dead years ago, and it had been taken down. I don't know why, but he redid it recently, and it really shocked me because he said, "No, this movie has gone under the radar, and not many people know about it." I'm like, "What? Return of the Living Dead is huge." To me it is. To me
I
and
agree.
you and. Yeah,
I wouldn't go that far that it's under the radar, so to speak.
I found that a bit strange. I think I even commented, going, "Dude, this movie's legendary. Brains, it's where it comes from," and blah blah blah. Anyway, but yeah, so maybe to us, we're very much like, I don't know. We'll see. It's. Let's see what happens. But yeah, interesting.
Do you think it's actually going to come out in 2025?
No, 100% no.
I don't either. I really don't. I think it's going to get pushed back.
Well, you've got 2 opposing movies from 2 different film companies at the minute, so I don't know what's really happening. I can comment on what's happening, but I don't really know what's going on. 2025, you've got...
It would be the time to do it since it's the anniversary, but...
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. I don't know. I like certain things about the trailer, but for me, I find too many things that for me just don't work. Or not so much don't work. What's the word? I'm concerned with, I think is the word. Concerned. But we shall see. But
yeah, that's true.
Time will tell.
Yep.
Until the nuke drops on Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania?
So, geography wise, I'm in the UK. So how far? Do you know how far Kentucky is from Pennsylvania?
I mean, you could easily drive there in one day.
Right. Okay.
They're geographically not too far off state-wise.
Okay. 'Cause that can be a key element to the movie. For example, knowing how far away it is.
It's Pennsylvania from Kentucky is about 8 hours.
Right.
So
drive. That's quite far.
Yeah. Maybe that's how long it takes Tarman to get there, because it took him 18 months to travel. It took him 18 months to travel 500 miles.
And he had to find his head again as well, and then reattach it, and then walk.
That's the whole other thing. It's like, if you really start to think about it, there's so many things you can dissect. It's like, well, is this the same Tarman?
Yeah.
Is this a different Tarman? Because there had to have been more than one barrel.
Well, there was 4 in the Uneeda, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And we only saw the one that Frank and Freddie, Frank slapped, Yeah,
this could have been a different barrel. This could be a different Tarman. There's a lot. There's a lot. Then you got to think about this. It's just like it's going to be new character. It's gonna have to be new characters in this movie. Yeah. It could be a farm family. It could be I don't know what they're going to do. Obviously, it's not a big budget movie, so I don't expect a huge cast, and it's probably going to be more of an isolated type of movie because of budget and stuff like that. Meaning, it'll probably my head keeps going to something more of like a farm element, right? Something Amish, maybe, just kind of there's a big Amish community out there. I'm not saying it's gonna be an Amish family, and my point is, I think it's gonna be something a little bit more desolate, a little bit more field-like, where it's a small cast dealing with the elements and that sort of thing, with some small sets maybe. But I don't think it's gonna be it's going to be a movie that has a huge cast with it, or a lot of extras. They could even almost focus solely on Tarman. You could do a movie where Tarman is the only zombie. I'm not saying that's the way to go, but you could theoretically, Tarman is big enough as a character, and you could make that work, where Tarman is the focus of that. Because let's say that the nuke took out Kentucky, the zombie stuff is gone, but somehow we had another barrel open up. Maybe this barrel was lost too, and it's kind of like a part 2 beginning where these kids find it, and it's just this family. There's a lot of ways, if you start to think about it, there are so many ways you could go about this that you could make it make sense. Yeah. But we'll see again, I'm just speculating. I'm just thinking about where I'm just thinking about where you could go with it logically. So I don't know. Maybe they'll take that idea if they haven't started filming yet.
Yeah, you never know.
But that's what I mean. You know what I'm saying? If it's not a big movie, you can't have a huge cast. You can't film downtown in the city a bunch. I think it's going to be a more desolate kind of movie. Yeah, outdoors, farmhouse, something in that style.
Night of the Living Dead style house. Ooh.
Yeah. Something like that.
Possibly. I've literally just had a thought. So what if the nuke drops and one of the containers, the canisters, the trioxin barrels, gets sent into the nuke, into the air, just like Indiana Jones and Crystal Skull in the fridge.
You know what?
Lands in Pennsylvania, cracks open. There you go.
But see, I would be okay if they even homage part 2, because you have to remember, this guy said, and this was on Bloody Disgusting, that all the movies live in the world that he's in. So
he's not retconning.
So what you could do, technically, if you want to kind of throw a little nod to part 2, is they get the barrels. Let's say they get the barrels from part 1. The rest of the barrels, if they were down there, and there is a guy driving a military vehicle, and one of them falls off again. You could, you see what I'm saying? There's a lot of ways you could go about this, and that's where my head goes when I think about this movie too. Yeah, and I hope it's not like a teeny bopper movie too, where it's a young cast. I think it would be refreshing to have because, I mean, in part 1, they were supposed to be, like, what, 22, 23, like, early 20s, something like that. Like, I don't want this to be, like, a teenager movie with, like, 17-year-old kids or whatever. Like, I would like to see the cast be a little bit more diverse and even have some dude... Like I keep going back to Kill Her Goats, which was just... I think it was porn actresses. Like, that's all it was, right? So... Mostly, like, so I would like to see this movie have a little bit more of a diverse cast. Let's have, like, a middle-aged dude in there. Let's have, you know, you can have a kid in there if you want, but, like, let's have, like some different, like, people showing up in this movie, too. So, I don't know, man, like, naturally, I want it to do well. I want it to be good and all that sort of stuff, but I don't know. I also can't think about it too much, because then I start building up what I think this movie's gonna be. And odds are it won't be nothing like what I'm thinking of.
No, damn it. Why aren't we filmmakers, damn it?
Oh, man. Because I'm smart enough to know that just making YouTube videos is the extent of my talent, if you even want to call it that. So, like, 100%. I'm not jaded, but...
No, 100%, man. Yeah. Well, Christian, thank you for coming on and talking the trailer with me. It's hard because it's a teaser. It's very, very short. We don't know where it's going to go, but... Right. Yeah, it's good to chat about it with you anyway, definitely. But
yeah, man, whenever we find out more stuff, if you ever want me back on, I'm always happy to, and, you know, it's interesting times, dude. Obviously, there's a lot going on, drama-wise with all this. Public stuff, you know, with anybody that's on Facebook can see that, and Bloody Disgusting's reported on the lawsuit stuff going on, so it does suck as a fan, too, to see it all happening, but... I don't know, man. I'm just going to let the legal system do its thing. You know? Yeah, no. I can't do nothing about none of this stuff, dude.
No, I'm with you. And I think I said this on my last episode, my solo episode, that I said that I will not be constantly going on about the lawsuit on the show because I feel like we need to get back to talking about the movies.
Yeah, and what can we really add to it? Like, you know, it's just like, it just is what it is. It happens all the time. You know, as a Friday the 13th fanatic, a lot of us have gone through hell with the lawsuit with Victor and Sean and them pulling the video game that came out a few years ago, which was fantastic. Literally had to die. Like, the game had to die because of the lawsuit. Like, they couldn't do... It's a dead game. And it's one of my favorite video games of all time. It was amazing. Yeah. So it's just like, this ain't my first rodeo dealing with, you know... the realities of legalities, which is a pretty good rhyme. It is. No, dude, it is, and that's... I accept that, but it just sucks when it gets in the way of things. So what can you do? True.
What can we do? Well, the movies are still there. The first 5 are still there for us to enjoy, even 4 and 5.
It's nice to hear somebody acknowledge. It's nice to hear somebody actually acknowledge 4 and 5. When I did all my research on those movies, dude. I can't hate them. No, I'm not saying they're great, but I refuse to hate them. Once you learn about what happened, it's a different ball game.
Oh, 100%. Me and my old co-host, William, we discussed 4 and 5 separately, two separate episodes, and we deep dive, like you did on your episodes, which I've watched. I love them. And, yeah, the history and William Butler, what had gone on, it's just, I feel for it, dude.
There's a good movie in Necropolis. Unfortunately, they didn't have the money and better actors. But there's a good movie in there. Like, the story of that is actually... I mean, I like the story. I'll shut up because I could literally go on about that. But, you know...
Do you know what, Christian? Come back on and we'll talk 4 and 5. Yeah, depth.
I'll do it.
Depth.
I will do it.
It'll be so much fun. Yeah. Yeah, do that. We'll come back on and we'll discuss 4 and 5 properly. So. Yeah, brilliant, man. Anyway, Christian, thanks for coming on, buddy. It's great to talk to you again, as always. And, so check out Christian's channel, Planet CHH. I always struggle saying that. CHH. It just doesn't roll off my tongue.
I love the way you say it.
Yeah, man. You can tell I'm thinking about it. CHH. Yeah.
So when I listened back to the episode we did,
I
get it. No, I love it because I'm friends with a guy from Australia too. His name is Chris Stanley. Really cool guy. Cosplay Chris.
Yeah. I like his stuff.
It's so funny. He goes, My buddy Christian, Planet CHH. It's so funny. It's like it's
H.
hey, yeah, H.
Yeah, we've got. I don't know. Maybe it's
I love it.
British accent, but the HH does not roll off my tongue, man.
Oh, I get a kick out of it.
Yeah, man, it's good fun. Yeah, but cheers for coming on. We will definitely talk again, and I always end this episode with the same old thing. So, Christian, I want to say something to you, and I mean this sincerely.
Go ahead.
No matter what happens, don't name it after
me.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, guys.
Spectacular results, sir. Very close to optimal placement. Well, sir, only 20 square blocks of screwing. Less than 4,000 dead, General. I wouldn't worry about the fires, General. The rain is taking care of that right now. Well, there have been complaints about burning skin, but I shouldn't worry. Minor irritation, General. The rain will wash everything away. That's correct, sir. All should be back to normal by morning. Yes, sir, I understand the President will visit Louisville tomorrow. No, we wouldn't want that to happen, sir. No, sir, this hasn't been very pleasant for anyone. Thank you, sir. Good night, sir.
Christ, it ain't dying!
I thought you said if we destroyed the brain, it'd die.
It worked in the movie!
Well, it ain't working now, Frank.
You mean the movie lied?